I'm 27 years old. I started an electric company, and we have grown drastically. And I called in last year about taxes because I got hit with a big tax bill and didn't know about quarterly taxes and this kind of stuff. So I'm just trying to kind of figure it out. But now our business has grown so much that we now are up to 65 team members, and this year we'll clock just right over $10 million.
Good for you. Well done, sir.
Well, I appreciate that. But the issue I'm having is obviously never ran a business before, and I've only been open this will be my 4th year, but I haven't expected to grow this fast. And I'm kind of lost trying to figure out how to get standard operating procedures, or with the size we are now, there's 4 or 5 people in accounting, and there's all these there's a lot of people here, there, and everywhere doing a whole lot of things, and I don't really have operating procedures, or and so I'm kind of lost in how do you, I guess, back up and get all this in place, and kind of maybe how you did it, or I'm kind of lost with it.
That's perfect. Yeah, that takes you from Pathfinder up into Trailblazer, which you probably would be in, except you need these repeatable processes. Systems and processes are necessary to run a business to go from 10 million to 50 million in your situation. So good for you. Good question. Mm-hmm. So give me an example of something that is chaotic that needs a new system.
I guess one example is, so I've got 2 offices. So I've got one in another city about an hour away. And so the people, I guess we'll just say like accounting, the way they're putting invoices and putting together profit and loss statements, it just completely contradicts here. And it feels like we have meeting after meeting, like, no, this is the way we need to do it. And then, 4 or 5 hands touch it. And it's like, no, this is not, this is not correct.
Okay, so you should have a leader of accounting overall. What do you call that person?
I guess we really don't have. I mean, we have, I guess, who would kind of be the head of it, but we don't really have
what's that person's title?
Accountant.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. All right.
I've never really set up job titles or that kind of stuff.
Well, that's okay. I just don't want, you got 4 people in each location. Are all 8 reporting directly to you?
Yes. Currently, everybody reports to me. So I'm kind of pulling my hair out.
There's your problem.
Yes.
Okay. You don't need to be running a bunch of accountants, dude. You need to be running a $10 million business. And so we need to choose someone within that group group respects, and that has some people skills, and that has a lot of accounting skills. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to call everyone together, appoint that person in charge of that, and say they're deputized to make both places' systems be identical.
Okay, so break it up into smaller bites then.
Yeah, both places has to have systems but you need someone else running it, because the problem is you get all these herd all these cats into one room, then you open the door and they all run out.
Correct.
They go back to doing their old crap. That's what you said.
Mm-hmm. No,
but if you got a guy that's his only job is to look over all the accounting and make sure it conforms to the same system at both locations, that's his job, is to make sure that this works. And anytime you're implementing a new system like that, people aren't going to like it because they prefer doing things their own way, because that's what's always worked, right?
Correct.
And so for them, but it's not working. So what we have to do anytime we put in a system, we have to tell everybody why the system is better than the chaos.
That makes sense.
Okay, I'll give you an example. We've got 12 different departments, divisions, profit centers inside Ramsey. At one point, a decade ago, they all were running their own creative. And so the EntreLeadership colors, brand, all the stuff you saw on it looked way different than everything else in Ramsey. There was no connection visually. So we put a system in place for all of our creative to get on the same page so that when you saw one Ramsey brand, you recognized it as a Ramsey brand under the umbrella. You follow me? So, but that's a system.
Yes.
We're putting all the creatives are dancing to the same song rather than everybody's freelancing out here in the middle of a dadgum thing, and I'm paying them to screw it up. And that's what I was doing. So you call that governance. We were governing. We started governing across the whole company. They had to meet certain standards in the creative. In your case, you're saying they have to meet certain standards and conform to an accounting process to where both locations have an identical thing. Why did we do that? We did that because the customers were getting confused as to whether or not they were actually dealing with Ramsey. Why are you doing it? Because it's very inefficient for us to have two different accounting systems. And the boss, the owner, me, I can't tell what the flip's going on. So it's necessary for everybody to get using the same system. It's going to be much more efficient, much more enjoyable for everyone involved, and I'm going to be happy. That's why we're doing it. And you tell the whole team that's why we're doing it. And I've just appointed George here. He's the new controller, and George is going to control, by God. That's his title. We're going to conform to this. I'm not going to send you back out and then you go back to doing it the way you used to do it. No, we're not doing that anymore. And then you hold them accountable to doing that. And if you got somebody continually getting off the reservation, you dial them back in, and then you fire them if they won't come back in.
Okay.
You're going to do it this way if you want to stay.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you pick, or how do you pick that person? Do you just pick the best person that does that role, or... They need to be
the best at accounting and at people skills, because now we're asking them to lead. We're not asking them to just do accounting. If they're horrible with people, they're not going to be able to herd these cats.
Okay.
But if they're horrible at accounting, they're not going to be able to herd these cats because these are accounting cats and they won't respect them. Think about if you got a crew in the field. And you got a 3-man team going in to do electrician work, right? And you got a senior guy on that, right? Well, he's got to know how to wire the house so he doesn't burn it down, or wire the building so he doesn't burn it down. The other guys aren't going to respect him if he doesn't know his technical knowledge. But he also can't be a butt.
Yeah,
he's got to have people skills to lead the crew. Same thing here, only we're not wiring a house; we're wiring a spreadsheet.
Okay.
Same exact process. But tell the team why. Otherwise, it sounds very corporate and bureaucratic. We're just handing down paperwork for you people to do. You don't want them thinking that. That's not what you're asking. All I want is efficiency and conformity. For the sake of the guy that owns it, you guys are driving me crazy. I'm pulling my hair out. We got to be on the same page, and that's what we said to our creatives. This is not random, like we're just dropping bombs on you from corporate. That's not what we're doing. We're going, the deal is we need this stuff to communicate to the customer. That's good for everybody because we make more profit. The customer has a clue they're dealing with a Ramsey brand based on the way the creative is done. And it's plugged in. There's a consistency to the fonts. There's a consistency to the color schemes. There's a consistency to the spacing and the way we use stuff. And we put basic creative governance guidelines in place, gave them a set of boundaries that they could play in the sandbox between those boundaries. And that's how we went through the thing. So really, really good question. Ross, I'm proud of you, man. You're killing it. Keep it up. Keep it up. And you call anytime I can help. I love helping guys like you. That's why we're here. This is the EntreLeadership Podcast.